amazing, beautiful people. It is so exciting to be back here again, sharing with you. And we are looking at kind of the real life, what really happens in life, and relational intelligence. And this week, it's relational intelligence in action. So we're now on, I can't believe it, we're on week 9, I believe, of series 2 already. How exciting is that? So we're going to talk today about the power of the pause button and reflection, because actually when we pause and we stop and we're just present in the moment, there is so much that then comes. So this weekend, it has been Hawke's Bay Anniversary Day and also Labour Day. So we've had a double portion of rest and play. I want you to think about that. And those of us who live in this area have had a 4-day weekend. So we start with the region, so the area in which we live in, having an anniversary day. And that's celebrating the beauty. And it's also actually the start of spring for us here. So it's kind of a double portion of awesomeness. Moving into the weekend and another statutory holiday called Labour Day. And I didn't know that Labour Day in New Zealand traces its roots right back to the 1840s, when carpenter Samuel Parnell refused to work longer than 8 hours in a day, sparking one of the earliest movements towards an 8-hour working day. Interesting, reflecting back on those who've gone before us. And what do some of the traditions that we have, what are they about? Where did it start? What is it for? So the joy of somebody who's gone before us to give us an 8-hour working day. Phenomenal. And we had the joy here of hosting a beautiful visitor and friend from Canada over this time. We met online, crack up, through Brilliant School of Leadership. And it has been such a joy to deepen our relationship by spending quality time together in our home and out and about, showing the majesty of the area that we live in. And after 18 years of living here in Hawke's Bay, Kev and I chose to do, with Tina, chose to do a guided tour of the Art Deco in Napier. What a beautiful surprise as we took the time out to listen and be present. And this episode is actually just sharing with you what I saw and what I heard. And what I saw and heard was God's hand in the city's journey. I don't believe for a moment that he caused the earthquake. However, I do believe that his hand was in the journey of discovery and recovery of this area, because as I see it, what the enemy meant for evil, all the bad things that happen to us, God, will turn for good. And it's always better than before. And it's actually written, it's written that, whatever the locusts have taken, he will fully restore. And so here are just 7 quick points that I learned because I listened, and this is what I heard and this is what I saw. One was that HMS Veronica happened to be in the port that day. Why was that? Because they needed to be the hands and feet to come in and help recover people and bring order into the chaos of what had happened in the earthquake. They also had the radio capacity and the ability to get the message out quickly from the ship to call in help and bring forces in from outside. Also, the direction of the wind changed. So it started, there was a disaster, but as everything was burning, the direction of the wind changed and pushed it out towards the sea instead of into further inland. I believe that was a blessing. And a whole new style of building was birthed that brought light and colour and life to the city. And now Art Deco, so now Napier is the Art Deco city of the world. This city was a hive of activity and hub in a time of the Great Depression. So post the earthquake, people pulled together, and that's the next point. So point 4 is that people work together for common good, clearing rubble, rescuing people, including prisoners who risked their lives for others and did a full turnaround from a life of crime to a life of service, helping in makeshift hospitals and shelters. Rubble was removed out of the city to become the new sea wall. And what is stunning is now this beautiful communal area that we call Marine Parade. And on that stands the sound shell, which is where open air theatres and skate parks are. So from the rubble, this is what's been built on what was broken. It's been revived and it's been restored. We've got our national aquarium, we have cycleways, we have walkways, we have playgrounds, we have the swimming baths, the AC bars, we have the national, the Napier Event Centre, not to mention the beautiful cafes, restaurants and accommodation that literally line along this area, looking out over the beautiful sea and looking out over Marine Parade. It's absolutely stunning. That devastating and natural disaster turns out to be a place of, glory. And then there's the other thing that I noticed, that this was a dawn of a new age where women were liberated and able to work, because it was post First World War and pre Second World War. And it was also written in stone in the architecture, sharing this story of love and hope for generations to come. I might actually put some photos in the email that I send, or if I can, I don't think I can add them to YouTube. So you'll need to be on my mailing list to get all the extras from this particular sharing. And then number 7 is also how I saw a new vision. A new blessing was placed over the city at this time. Art Deco was the new optimistic, so forward-thinking, optimistic style of building, bringing the wisdom and insight of the past to bring hope, light, colour and life, not only to the time of construction in 1931, but also into the future, which is the 2020s that we're living in now and beyond. So what's my takeaway from this experience, and what are the 3 things that I want to share with you that just really spoke into my heart? The first, where I was reminded how in our toughest times, the light will always shine if we let it. We can go through all sorts of tough times. It's not necessarily about an earthquake. Sometimes it can be an earthquake or something devastating that happens in our lives. In my case, it was the breakdown of my first marriage. That was a devastating time. It might as well have been an earthquake as far as I was concerned. But looking back, only in the last 18 months, we had a cyclone here in Hawke's Bay. It took out lives, it took out homes, it took out businesses and livelihoods. Following that time, I've witnessed the love of a community coming together to help and support each other in need. I've seen a regeneration of those places that were affected, coming back to life in a new and better way. And I know that many are still working through this. The outcomes of this, some of the farms will take a decade to recover. However, work is underway. So just thinking about in your personal life, when you've had a tough time, how the light always comes through. It's always better on the other side if we choose it and if we let it. And the second thing was how, when we come together with a common objective, we can produce some outstanding results, even in the face of uncertainty and depression, which is where they were in 1931. This city was rebuilt and pumping again within 2 to 3 years, a whole city rebuilt from rubble to the beauty of what it is today, or much of what it is today. There's certainly the bones of it. The makeshift tin town that was in Clive Square was being taken down after 3 years as the emergency was over. The Band-Aid had done its job, and it was time to rebuild a stunning garden, a place of peace, tranquility, colour and beauty in its space and in its place. How, when we bring all our gifts and talents together, working in unity and one accord, running in our lanes, a city can be rebuilt from the foundations up in record timing. And actually, a sideline is, I passionately believe, I really believe that it's time for government, business, and the church to be working together. It is time for the 3 parties to be around board tables, looking at a much bigger picture, far beyond the term of service or appointment that they've got, or the current mandate, or might be a CEO for a certain amount of time, or you might be in government for the next 3 years. But we need to look beyond that to the future and how we can make a huge difference together. I believe we are coming into a new season of abundant blessing as those who are willing and able lay down their own personal agendas and bring what they have in their hands to the table to make this world a better place for generation after generation. So I just share with you today, it's a little bit, I've been a bit reflective. I'm not as, I'm in that reflective time. I'm really thinking and looking and seeing in like what is ahead of us? What is there? What's the hope? What's the future? What's the love? So I just encourage you today to be abundantly blessed, abundantly blessed. Today is a new day, and I encourage you to go out and tell the people you love them today and see the joy on their faces and in their hearts. I encourage you to think beyond the moment, beyond the now, and to think about a bigger picture on what legacy do you want to leave behind, and who do you want to work with? Who has God placed around you that you can work with in this season to do far more than you could on your own? And that goes back to a beautiful quote I heard from Teresa Cook. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go further, do it together. So consider, who are the relationships that you have? Who are the people that if you worked together, you could produce far more than you could if you were on your own? So I love you. God bless you. Have an absolutely amazing day, amazing week. And I look forward to seeing you next week with the next episode of how to live a real life and relational intelligence. Abundant blessings. God bless.